Hi everyone and welcome back to another BTLO Replay. We're doing the winter seasonal event now. We had 5 labs. I've done Derailed before. You may have watched that. It was an easy threat intelligence lab. And so we had 2 easy, 2 medium, and a hard for this one. What I'm going to be taking you through today obviously is Snowflake. This was a medium SOC lab that Josh put together. It was actually a lot of fun to play. So I didn't QA this one, but I played this one during the event, and yeah, it was pretty fun. It kind of like flowed really nicely. A lot of the evidence was just the attacker's evidence, and that was really cool. We'll get to see that. There wasn't too much noise, so you could kind of figure it out as you went, and there was quite a lot of questions. So before we jump into that, make sure you follow us on X, LinkedIn, or Discord to keep in touch with the BTLO community, because we've got an awesome community out there. So links, as always, are in the description box below. But for now, as always, let's get started by having a look at the scenario. So it was recently discovered that one of our web application servers had been compromised, and the IMP Incident Response Team has been activated to investigate using network, log, and database analysis techniques. Look, we're not known for having great security, and our website was created by an old intern. We'll implement security controls after this incident has been resolved, we promise. Please investigate and understand what actions the attackers has taken. We're really interested in timestamps so we can build a proper timeline. Okay, so that's good to know. We can take that as, I guess, a hint that we should be taking some notes and keeping our own timeline so that we know if a question's asking and it's further on in the question list, then it probably means it's further on in the timeline as well. So from here, IP address of the attacker, what country, what's the user agent during the initial reconnaissance phase, attack techniques. Okay. So some URLs in here, IP. So I'm suspecting like web logs and access logs, maybe. Did they log in? We'll get into the evidence. It looks pretty straightforward for a normal investigation. So this should be fun. So let's open up the investigation folder. Yeah, so we've got some access logs, some error logs, a README.txt, and MySQL general log. What do I have on this system? I think there was a text editor. I think it was Sublime. Let me see if I can open it up. Oh, not found. I wonder if I just open it. LibreOffice. I don't want to open it. Oh, it's a CSV. Let's open that up. Okay, so we've got SQL access logs, and it's also the commands that have been run. Okay, so let's lock this into the screen. Minimize that for now. Let's have a look at the README text. Oh, we do have Sublime. Awesome. Go access is installed. I'm sure you can use your OSINT CLI skills to figure out how to use this tool if you want to. Okay. Go access TACH. I think I remember not using this tool much. Examples can be found by running man go access. That's kind of just what I want. Examples are probably at the bottom. So yeah, looks like these are some of the examples. Working with dates, real-time HTML output, multiple log files. Okay, so I can give it 2 access logs. And I can generate a report. Okay, so let's do that. Let's change into desktop and then the Snowflake folder. So we should have all the files in here. And then I wanted go access log 1, access log 2, and then what was it? It was tac A, tac O. Let's call this report tac access .html. No time format was on your conf file. Let's go. I need a time format. Parse options, file. Pipe this to less and look for time. Prompts log date configuration window. So maybe I can give it a tac C. Nope. Let's keep looking. Not less. Time. Oh, time format. Specify log time format. Hour, minutes, seconds. Okay. So I don't want to less it. Let's just take a look at the log file. It should be standard. Just hour, minutes, seconds. What was it? Percent. Oh, yeah. Percent hour, minute, second. Okay. So let's get rid of the C. Oh, no, I've forgotten what. Is at the top here. Tac time tac format equals, and then the time format. Okay. Equals percent hour, percent minute, percent second, with the columns in between. No date format was found. Do I need to specify a date format? This is dumb. Go access time format. Time format. Can I just use combined? Let's give that a try. I want it in capitals. Combined. No date format was found on your conf file. Let's. Can I not care about a? Ooh. Space toggle, combined format, log format, %H. Sure. Enter to proceed. Pausing. Oh. Okay. What was the first IP address of the attacker? Let's see if we can find that. So we only have 2 visitor IPs. And I would say hit 146. I would say it's this IP. Only Only because I would expect the attacker to do reconnaissance, and we've got some questions in here about reconnaissance. So we'd have a high hit count. And it's asking for the first IP address of the attacker. So this is likely the second. So we've only got attacker IP addresses in here. Yeah. So that's what would lead me to this question. So let's copy this. There we go. What country is this IP associated with? So my favorite IP lookup website. Again, you can probably use lots of these. Iceland, nice. Fits with the whole winter theme, I guess. Though I always heard that, I don't know, like maybe Iceland's not as icy as everyone says it is. What is a user agent string of the attacker? Let's see what else is in here. If it pulls out numbers of... okay. It looks like that's all I get. How do I quit? Quit. And let's go into my normal way of that I like to do things. Let's cat the access logs. And less. So 5166. This is the first request. Let's copy that. So it looks like our access log activity starts with the attacker. During the initial reconnaissance phase, how many valid URLs were identified? Valid URLs. So right. We can see that they're scanning because we've got a whole bunch of 404s. It's asking for valid, so those will be 200 code. So what we could do is let's grep. So I'm grepping for the spaces because like I want it to match this pattern. So this is a valid URL. And then as long as the page, this is the page size from the request, as long as that isn't 200 and then this is like something weird, then we should get hits on everything. So let's less that. And then we essentially want to just want to look at unique ones. So we're seeing here, actually, so it looks like they've found the login page and they're brute forcing. Okay, so initial reconnaissance is just this. And he switches IPs. So when he gets access, he switches IPs. So he's using a different box to scan. So what we're looking at now, and it links to the user agent, which is this one, the Mozilla 4. So it's just these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Number of valid URLs, 10. Okay. Some of these are like this could be automated. It might not be. Oh no, because it's a scanner. But the favicon ICO is the it's this thing. So this little like icon here and like here as well. That's what that ICO file is. It's actually just the tab image. It's not really a page, but I guess it gets loaded and it has a URL. So yeah. Anyway, some more details. What discovery attack technique is this evidence of? So it looks like they're doing maybe 1 or 2 level deep directory scanning. So we can look here and go minor directory scanning 1083. Yeah, top technique T1083. Awesome. What interesting URLs from the initial reconnaissance phase did the attacker manually investigate in order of them being accessed include only the last section of the URL? Okay, so we know that this was automated, and then he switched IPs. So icons probably aren't interesting. All right, so what's interesting here is that it's a little bit of pen testing knowledge, I guess. And maybe it's interesting from the perspective of the attacker, not necessarily us, because we don't have access to the website to look at it. But I would say that robots.txt is kind of the first one, and the format gives it away. Then we know the order is file extension something something, so it wants the directories. I would then say that uploads is interesting, database is interesting, and the GIFs not necessarily, and tests. So that could be like a prod, like dev prod environment, where tests is like they're testing stuff before that they've done in dev and pushed to prod. So let's go with that. And so these are the directories. So uploads could be a place that we could upload things, and if we were an attacker, we may be able to exploit it. And database, the story did mention database, so that could be interesting as well. What file was downloaded during this activity? So we have a GET request. Did I filter? I did filter for the 200. So now I need to look for around this activity, but without the filter of 200, because there may be a redirect for the download, which would be a different code. So we know this is all the initial scanning that wasn't successful. So we can scroll down. We know that I should have got, what I should have done is I can just search for 200 here, but I should have noted down the timestamp, right? Because then we could have just scrolled to that part. So this is the favicon. This is kind of the first one. I've only filtered on 200. Actually, what I can do to make this easier, because I don't really care about what is not happening, we can do an inverse grep for 404, and I'll put the spaces in. This is a failed. So this inverse grep, so tact V, means show me everything except for the lines that have 404 in it, which is a really good way of, when you're investigating, even like in the real world, if you have a large log file, to whittle down, if you don't really know what you're looking for, but you know something suspicious happened, not just for weblogs, for everything. So this is my common method of actually getting through log files, as long as they're not too big. But if you've kind of narrowed down a time window, just using like grep, inverse grep, cut, like, great. It's great for all that kind of stuff, if you can get your head around it. All right, so we filtered out the 404. Yeah, so we do have some redirect codes here. So config database. Yeah, so config wasn't necessarily successful, so I forget. What's HTTP 301? Move permanently. Okay. So it means it was there and they've moved it. So we're looking for a file that was downloaded. Likely be a GET request. Oh, there was this. It was a 200. Okay, maybe I just didn't scroll down far enough. But it's in that database folder. It looks like they've pulled down the DB file. So let's copy that. Cool. What are the names of the users the attacker attempted to log into? So this will likely be in that database file that we opened already. So administrator is one of them. We see administrator here. We're looking for 2 users. So what we can do is I'm just going to copy. I'm just going to go up here. I hate the unresponsiveness of the mouse sometimes. We're going to go Control V, find all. So we got 33 results, not too many. I would love for this to be more responsive. Come on. Come on. You can do it, mouse. Oh my God. There we go. This. Select from users. Okay. Anyway, administrator. Ooh. From users into our file. They're stealing stuff. Anyway. Admin. Not admin J. In total, successful value, how many login attempts are made for the first account? All right, so we can just literally count 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Second account, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. At what time did the attacker successfully log in? So likely the end of the brute force. So I've just jumped to that one. Connect, access denied. Access denied. Root localhost. So the Snowflake admin, and then it does on both local hosts, and it drops the IP. So what I'm thinking about here, so we see there's like a brute force, right? The brute force would cause a login to the web page or whatever they're logging in as. And we've got this, which is like the description page, I guess. So Snowflake admin at localhost and the IP. And then we kind of jump to 234.46. And we have the www tac data user and admin and root. Does it have... Doesn't have any more description. So the reason that I'm thinking these are separate is how the description appears in the logs. So I think what's happening is there's like the web interface that's being logged in the SQL database, and that's appearing in the logs like this. But then the local database, once you're on the system, appears like this because it doesn't have the IP address, even though it's only localhost. But that's because of like how the investigation is set up, not necessarily how it should look in the real world. And I don't think this question is asking for the SQL database login. I think it's asking for the web login. So we know, so if we go back to these logs, we know that there was a brute force attempt. which is this login PHP, which is what we were just seeing with all the usernames. At what time did the attacker successfully log in? There is also the case of, like, if you've ever used scanners before, sometimes the scanner will get a successful login, but then still try a few other passwords before it realizes and then stops. So some of these could be failed, but we didn't see that in the logs, right? We saw the last one here. Which was this one. So 2023, 12/7, 20604. But the date format's indicating that it's like this. And I would say that a successful login is when you hit the index page, which would be this one. Because, I mean, your post request for the login is your attempt at authentication, whereas success is when you receive the index page. So I would say this one. Awesome. Okay. Because if it had failed, you wouldn't get the index page. They would keep brute forcing and it wouldn't be the answer. Okay. We know the attacker uploaded a file. What time was this done? So this would be a post request to upload and a large file size. And then they request it. It'd be this snowshell PHP file. So it would be this one. Was the name in the file. So that was snowshell PHP. So likely the PHP web shell. What is the attacker technique ID for this activity? God, I hate these questions. I love you, Josh, but I hate MITRE ATT&CK technique ID questions. I hate them when I played the platform before I joined. But I want web shell upload PHP server software component web shell. (15.5.3) wanted a sub technique. At what time did the attacker read a file that gives them information about system users? When did they read a file? So they did who am I? Uname to find out about the system. Cat Etsy password. There you go. It's when they find out about the users. To copy out of here, for those that don't know, Control-Shift-C in Unix command lines usually get you copy. Control-C will cancel whatever you're doing. The attacker tried to establish further access to the server utilizing their existing access. What two languages are used in this attempt? Python and PHP. They're actually creating, they're binding a new socket. Okay, yeah. Python, PHP. What directory did the attacker attempt to access multiple times? CD command ls cat Etsy password again. CD home web admin ls CD what what the fuck? Home admin desktop home and web admin. Yeah, so they're trying to get into the home web admin. What is the command that gets the attacker another method of remote access? So all I'm doing here is the questions seem to follow on. I'm not worried about going back once I've found an answer. touch tests. Could be this Python. Or do I get an error code? No, it's there. Oh no, this is the doing a test.py thing. Oh, I got some netcat. So NC is netcat. Oh, sorry everyone. I'll go full screen again. Out text. This one. So NLVP. So it's listening on 51337. So the P is what port, V is verbose, L is listen, N is, I can't remember, but we'll look it up in a sec. Control-Shift-C, we can do the command encoded or not. So this is just URL encoding. %2F is a /. But netcat switches, of course, netcat. GG. And then we want to try and find TAC-N. Oh, it won't look up DNS. Okay. We saw this from the previous questions, 51337. What accounts did the attacker fail to access the database on? Oh, cool. So that's this one. I think we saw this. Yeah, access denied. So www.data and admin. And admin. What time did the attacker successfully connect to the database? It's one of these times. Root access, connect, quit, connect. So connect, quit, and then connect and then query. So I think this first one, and the timestamps lead us to this database. 12 TAC 07 242 42. Yep. What database did the attacker connect to? That was this one. IMP SNOWFLAKE DB2. What table does the attacker dump and what is the output file name? Select. So some light SQL knowledge. So from is actually referencing a table. So from the users table and dumping it to out.csv. So users out.csv. What time does the attacker download the downloaded export? Oh, so out CSV, we need to look for that in the web logs. So I'm in less, right? Yeah, out.csv. So he makes a GET request and grabs it. So this should be the timestamp. Control-Shift-C. Control-V. There we go. So that was actually really nice. Like it flowed really smoothly. I didn't use Go Access except for this first one. It was nice to visualize the IP, so it would have been helpful if there was a lot more noise. But again, I would have used like grep and cut to whittle down the logs to get an idea of spread. That's just how I normally view logs. But hopefully that was helpful. If you've never kind of like looked at logs before, you kind of like open it up in a text editor and use it. Definitely, I would recommend like you can get a little book of like awk and sed and grep. I forget who they're from, but hang on, I've got it on my bookshelf. Yeah, so for those that are interested, you can get little books which are awesome. They're called, like it's a little pocket reference, and I've got one in my hand here, Sed and Awk. They're from O'Reilly. US $10. Awesome. Like if you can get a few of these for that kind of stuff, particularly if you're doing investigations, you've kind of also got like the blue team and red team field manuals. I just find in general, or even just Googling, but these are really nice to just have to sit on your desk or like in your bookshelf and that kind of thing and collect these over time. But yeah, great investigation, was lots of fun. Fairly realistic in terms of attack path. what would make this more realistic, I guess, would be the noise that you would normally have with a web server. So you would have a lot more logs, like probably gigs. But it flowed really nicely, so that was a lot of fun. But thanks everyone for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to never miss a video. In the meantime, remember to join us on Discord and tune in every Friday at 6 PM UTC for BTLO Replay. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you all next time.